Hello, today we're going to replace a throttle control lever cable assembly on a John Deere LA125 lawn tractor. You can see I have a broke throttle lever. Right here it still operates, but you just have to stick your finger in there or a screwdriver and it goes up and down. Okay, this is on the left side as you're sitting in the tractor. It's a pretty simple operation to change it. I've got a replacement part. The part number is GY20948. That's at any John Deere tractor dealer. This is an actual John Deere part. When you open the box, this is what you have. It's just a whole assembly. And if you look right there, you can see it's just a clip-in, and then it runs down to the cables. And on the end, they just have little bent shapes that just hook in and then twist, and that's what latches it in there. So we'll start with undoing the cables, and that starts with the Torx bit, and that is a size T25. So you take and put your bit in there, and loosen it off, and it's kind of stiff. You don't have to take it all the way out, just enough so that cable will slide back and forth like that. So there's one right below the intake here, and then there's one right next to the valve cover right here, and they're both the same size and they both work the same way. So you just put your little Torx in there, give her a few twists, and it comes loose. And you can see that lets the cable, the sheathing, slide back and forth in there, and then you can just pull it back a little bit and work it around the clamp and it comes out. Give me just a second here and I'll show you how to get that out. Okay, so that's kind of a two-handed operation, but you just pull your sheathing back and then this just slips out like that, and you can see that moves like that. Okay, so we're probably going to have the whole cable loose so I can get some extra slack here. I'm trying to do this one-handed. It's not very easy, but you just, the way that wire shapes, you just bend it like that and then it'll pull straight out. So that's one of them. Loosen this top one up a little bit more. And it goes kind of the same way. You just have to kind of straighten it out a little bit. And it just pops right off. So you're not going to have to worry about getting the links right or anything because it's a John Deere part. It's not a universal or anything. So it'll pretty much just be an assemble it back. So let me move up to the lever assembly and we'll start working on getting that out of there. Okay, now this is right with the hood forward, right above the battery. You just kind of look underneath and there's two cables coming off of this little housing right here. If you look right to the side, there's some little clips right there. And if you'll take a flat blade screwdriver, doesn't have to be a very big one, you can kind of see it looks like a spot where it should slide right up in there. If you just push up in there, it kind of unclips, and there's 4 sides you have to do. So I don't know if I can do this without, there's kind of one, there's kind of the other, and then I have to do the other side and I can't do it like I'm doing it. But anyway, you just unclip those, all four, and then the whole thing just pops up, and I'll do that real quick and then show you some more. You can't hardly get to this side underneath, so if you're very gently kind of pry right in here and right in here, it'll kind of pop over that lip. See those? Those are what you're pushing on to free it up, so it just kind of rocks and lifts out. And that's pretty easy. So the hard part is taking the new one. Dylan, would you reach up in there? And we're just fishing the cables through there. And you can see him kind of grab. It's got to come over this. It's got to come over the top of this. Okay, so once you get the cable slid in there, that just kind of pretty much pops right back in there. And it sits pretty nice and level and flush. And make sure you want those all the way down, because that puts the inner cable farther out and it gives you a lot more room to work. And you can see this right cable goes up in there. The right cable goes to the orange part, which is the throttle. And there's a little clasp right there. You just kind of feed your cable through there. And it goes around like that. And that'll go around and back up to the cable. And the other one, it just kind of floats. And again, you just put it right back through your little clamp and right back into the hole. So give me just a second and we'll get started on that again. Okay, so to start that cable, you're going to have to bend it to get it over that angle. And it kind of slides right in there. You have to work your angle just a little bit. It's a little bit of a wrestling match. There, and then it just kind of angles right back in there. And this goes right back down into the cable clamp like that. And you just clamp it about right back there where that is. So we'll go ahead and clamp this one down, and I'll start on the other one in just a second. Okay, so to start, after you get your end in the little hole, you have to make sure this cable is adjusted right. So with it all the way down, that should be all the way shut, which this is. So this goes as far as it'll go. You can mash down right here and it goes as far as it goes. And then you let your sheathing, your outer sheathing, goes until this has all the way out, and then you tighten it back down. That way, when you work the cable, it stops and it hits the stops just like that. So that way you've got full movement of your actuator. So we'll start on the next one. Okay, and we're just going to try and get this grabbed up in the hole. There you go. And then now you just slide your, oops. Okay, this has a little tongue part and it goes in the little groove. And you just slide this up into the clamp part. Again, just like what we talked about. Make sure it's shut. This is your choke. Okay, so you want to make sure that has room all the way there. You just get on your Torx bit. That again, that is a T25. It's a little bit stiff, and just make sure you kind of push it over with your finger, and that way it's at maximum, which right now it would be open the way the lever is. So that's maximum open. And the nice thing about these, you really don't have to use your choke until it gets a little bit cold. Okay, Dylan, would you work the choke lever, and then we'll make sure that that's opening and closing correctly. Okay, that's choked. That's not choked. So that looks like we have all the movement, and then you just put your hood back on and fire it up. Thanks for watching. Really works. Again, it's pretty warm out. It's probably still, I don't know, 80 degrees out, so we don't really need to use the choke. But if you just put your throttle about halfway, just give it a pinch. There you go. So it works. And I can throttle up and down. So it took about maybe 10 or 15 minutes at the most. Wasn't that bad. So maybe give it a try and do it yourself if you ever have to replace your throttle lever. Thanks for watching. Okay.